What Nigerians all over the world are seeking is an interpretation to the law as it concerns several issues, a plethora of issues, and then should not be restricted to just audit of the voting, which is quite important. Peter Obi is seeking that his vote should be audited. The vote of every other presidential candidate for the 2023 presidential election should be audited. By auditing, we are talking about what is the actual number of votes that are secured, what votes were stolen or given to people, whether deliberately or unconsciously, what votes were given to him that are not his, take it away if need be. That is auditing. For a lot of you, you are speaking English because your interpretation of how rigging has been done in this country for all these years is that voting is increased in certain areas of the north or certain areas of the south, and that begins to increase the number of votes duly given, sometimes not using all parameters of irregularities, manipulation, sometimes child voting, underage voting, sometimes thumb printing. Sometimes we used to hear those days of palm kernel being used to thumb print, or several. We are yet to get to that point in our democracy or an electoral system where there will be auditing of fingerprint, because we still think that a lot of fingerprint voting still happen, right? Multiple fingerprint voting. So with the advent of the electronic voting system, the beavers and the IRF, Nigerians were a bit comfortable to see that, okay, maybe this is going to do away with a lot of the irregularities. But of course, we didn't know that INEC had other plans. And so currently, what the APC know that they can do, what they can get, the best they can obtain from this election is a rerun. Because yes, INEC broke the rules. It wasn't like a promise. It was a law that was in the Electoral Act that INEC went against. It was part of the procedure for the 2023 general elections. And so, and APC can gallivant to say, okay, we'll have a rerun. That's why they are stopping with all consciousness any form of auditing of the vote. That's why you are seeing that there is still blur electoral results happening. There is still some local government, there are some state, there are some polling units that are yet to be released. As I talk to you now, by the abduction of written addresses by the councils of the various respondents and all that, the petition in the presidential election petition tribunal is going on, there are still some results that are yet to be uploaded in the IRF. Why? They want the rerun to be between Bola Ahmed Tinubu of the APC and Atiku Abubakar of the PDP. And many political analysts will tell you that this will be an easy ride for the current sitting president to get, because that's what he wants. That's what's going to happen. But a lot of the times, what Nigerians are seeking through the Obi Dirty campaign is that there should be an auditing of that vote, right? First and foremost. And that's why I've seen several of those from EC8A and all of them into the petition tribunal hall.
There is good news. Labour Party submitted more than 10,000 copies of Forms EC8A, being copies of their own party agents. This will hopefully put to end the constant question, why didn't Labour Party submit their own political party agents to prove they won? You can see that they submitted 3 types of documents: the ones that INEC gave them, copies from IREV, and the physical copies, the ones that are referred to as hard copies, plus their own party agent copies. Now, let's look at the impact of the more than 10,000 copies of Forms EC8A that Labour Party tendered in evidence, alongside the more than 18,000 copies from IREV that are blurred that INEC stamped and certified and gave them. INEC should have replaced those blurred copies with the hard copies that they claim to have used in collating the results. But they didn't, despite some of these results being blank, as in plain sheet of paper. They just stamped all of them. But Labour Party actually turned their strategy around to their own advantage. The reason INEC withheld evidence is simple. They don't want to bring the evidence that will prove that they did the wrong thing in court. This is why if you read their final reply, you will see that they are arguing that Labour Party failed to prove they won the election, that they believe that the plea has been abandoned by Labour Party. So their strategy was withhold evidence, starve the petitioners the evidence that they need to prove their case, and tell the court, oh, they failed to prove they won. But it backfired seriously, because Labour Party now told the court, since uploaded results on IREV are the same thing with hard copies, then whatever INEC certified and brought to court should be taken as the real thing. Yes, even their witness accepted it under cross-examination. So Labour Party turned their strategy around to their own favor. If the court agrees that truly, yes, they are the same copies, so if you submitted blank copies and blood copies, that means the results can't stand because no one can collate any result without seeing the figures.
Right? There should be an interpretation of the law for the 25% compulsory target for anybody that wants to become president in Abuja, in FCT Abuja.
You must score the highest number of votes cast in the election, and you must also score a quarter of the votes cast in 2/3 of all the states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. And it says that in default, any of the candidates meeting this particular threshold, that there will be a second election, and that only 2 of the candidates are going to participate in this second election. 1, the candidate that got the highest number of votes, and 2, one amongst the remaining candidates, if I may use the layperson's language, who scores the highest spread in the highest number of states will be the second candidate. And if there are 2 candidates who get that particular spread, then you take the candidate that scored the highest number of votes amongst those who got the spread.
That is by the way. And so there is also the interpretation of the law on the issue of forfeiture. Because I got a video clip of an ESC official trying to explain what forfeiture means, and this will embarrass everybody. Listen.
Forfeiture is not a fine. It is not a fine.
Okay.
It's a
Forfeiture
tool,
is not a fine.
It's not a fine. It's a tool to deprive the criminal from enjoying the benefits of his criminal activities. It's to deprive him, to stop him from enjoying his illegal acquired wealth. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
The EFCC official trying to explain what forfeiture means. In her own understanding, it's a way of stopping a criminal from enjoying the proceeds of his crime.
That's what she thinks that a forfeiture should mean as an ESC official. He says, she goes on to say it's not a fine, but it's the court or whoever now, maybe your body, trying to stop that criminal. Sometimes when you want to carry your head and run, or carry your leg and run, you put your head at risk. You say, okay, that criminal. And again, you are saying that, okay, the forfeiture of $460,000 wasn't a fine, but the person that forfeited it was a criminal. That's enough. There's no issue of perjury. There's so much being said now. Of course, Wole Olanipekun said that as long as the passport expired, his citizenship has expired. And several Nigerians are in this country whose passport has expired, and they are still Nigerian nationals. So automatically they now became Nigerians or they became Malians. We are here to know that. And there's also the issue of forgery. Why am I doing all this? In case they are bringing these stories of rerun, because they know that the rerun will be the best that they can obtain. Of course, it's normal sense. As much as we are not in any way judges or we are not in a court, right? We understand clearly that this election was flawed. Forget whoever is saying. Of course, if independent observers that are not Nigerians, that international observers came in and could determine that only 31% of what INEC gave as data, statistics, or information or result of the election was actually correct, then that's enough. I'm sure we are home and dry. So I want to beg Nigerians, let's not lose faith, let's not lose hold of what we're supposed to do. Let's stop this rerun analysis, because for them, they want to do anything to just seek for a rerun, and then by rerun they can have a mastermind on how to penetrate the election and do whatever they like. But there are issues that must be cleared. Yes, that election should be null and void. Yes, the candidate of the All Progressives Congress should be disqualified for breaking and breaching several sections of our constitution, several of them all. And then if that is home and dry, then we can begin to move on. Of course, you can see now, for example, there is a ministerial nominee that have been nominated by him. That was a couple of years ago disqualified, banned from elections in the next 10 years, contesting elections in the next 10 years by the Taraba state government for presenting forged documents, forged certificates.
There's a saying, Like birds flock together. There's another one. Show me your friends and I will tell you the kind of person you are. Going by the ministerial nominees, it is obvious the kind of person Tinubu is, the kind of people that are his associates, and the kind of people he prefers to work with. One of the ministerial nominees, this lady, Stella Okotete, was accused at the time she was appointed to the Nexim Bank board. Many accusations from falsification of documents to monumental fraud, but she's not the focus of this video. The focus is on Danladi, who was disqualified by the Supreme Court in 2019 for certificate forgery and lying under oath. Yes, the same Supreme Court saved him when he was impeached by the Taraba House of Assembly as the Deputy Governor of Taraba State. They returned him as the Deputy Governor and he became the acting governor in the absence of the governor, who of course he had an accident. So it shows that the law is actually no respecter of persons, that if you are in the wrong, the law will catch up with you. But if you are in the right, you will be spared by the same law and of course the justices. In Danladi's case, he forged a certificate and lied about his age under oath. And when he appealed to the Supreme Court, the honorable justices that heard the appeal included the current Chief Justice of Nigeria. It was a unanimous judgment. They sacked him, said that the appeal lacked merit, and they declared that APC had no governorship candidate in Taraba State in 2019. As a result of that judgment, the Taraba State government moved to gazette the judgment so that the consequences will take effect, meaning that Danladi will be banned from contesting for any position for 10 years, starting from the date of the gazette. It's not clear if the Taraba State government eventually raised a white paper which would have banned Danladi from contesting any election for the next 10 years. Also, it's not clear if they charged him for perjury, because since the Supreme Court already held that he lied under oath and falsified his age, that's perjury. Now, when you look at what Danladi faced, what he was accused of before he went up to the Supreme Court, it's quite similar to what Tinubu is being accused in front of the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal judges. And definitely, whatever verdict the tribunal judges arrive at, the losing party will still appeal to the Supreme Court. So the same issues that the Chief Justice of Nigeria heard in 2019 will still come up at the Supreme Court in 2023. So how is he going to react? How is he going to decide? Danladi was accused of forging a certificate. The Supreme Court agreed. He was also accused of falsifying his age and lying under oath. The Supreme Court also agreed. In Tinubu's case, he is accused of forging his certificate. The tribunal is yet to deliver judgment. He is also accused of lying under oath because he lied about his dual nationality. The tribunal is yet to pass a verdict. It will eventually get to the Supreme Court. So how will the CJN decide on the matter?
And so this government, who says they came to renew hope, would go and resurrect such a character and make ministerial nominee. Or for why? What they are doing currently with all these appointments and whatever, it's to create a political balance for a rerun so that they can stand a better chance. Right? That's what they are doing. It is not about credibility, not about capacity, not about competence, not about solution orientation. It's just people that will have a stake in the political hemisphere of their current or their regions and states to be able to penetrate just in case a rerun happens. But we are going to shock them because, of course, we know that by virtue of interpretation of the laws and the crimes against this set of people, obviously a rerun would be like a lifeline. You don't even need that. The truth of the matter is that it is outright disqualification by our standard. Watch the rest of this video and share, and then let's continue to I want us to not fall into the trap, because these guys have a way of selling emotional information and body language that can make you feel comfortable and say, okay, rerun will happen. The point of the law says for a rerun, the person with the highest number of votes against the person with the highest spread. And at the moment, Peter Obi doesn't stand a chance in any of this, according to INEC results. But we know, of course, that this man qualified eminently. He would have won the election if INEC decided to do the right thing. So that's why they deliberately have to rig him to be third on the order so that they can be able to, in case there's a rerun, they can have that done. Share this video and let's keep our eyes open. Let's not accept a rerun as part of the game plan that they want to do. Bola Ahmed Tinubu should be disqualified because he broke the law.